Hey everyone, this is Danielle. This is a previously done interview that I did in September of 2019 with Ryan Jones, the brother of Michael Jones. We have been following the case of Michael Jones and the murder of his wife, Casey, and their four children. I have Michael Jones's brother on the phone with me, actually. He is going to do an interview and give some better insight into Michael and Casey and some things that he would like to clear up or make the truth be known because there is a lot of confusion going around about the case. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. It's good to speak with you. I'm sorry it's under such terrible circumstances, and I can't imagine. We send you our sympathies and condolences, and we are thinking of you.
Yes, thank you.
So we'll just go right into questions, I guess, and some things that maybe you can give some insight on. You are Michael's younger brother, right?
Correct.
And you both grew up in Vermont.
Yep.
That's what I,
Southern
Southern
Vermont.
Vermont. So you're down by like the Massachusetts line.
Yes.
Okay. There's so many things that have been said, and there's so much confusion about so many things. One of the factors of Michael's life that has been confusing to people, or that was actually, I believe, brought to the public's attention, was from a post that you made about Michael's military experience. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, apparently Michael had made several lies in his life, but one was that he was actually in Iraq with, um, or rather during this early 2000s. He was, in fact, in the Navy, but he did not actually leave the base. He was stationed in Camp Pendleton, uh, which is in California.
Okay.
He only made it 3 years in the Navy, and he got discharged for either medical or mental
Okay.
issues.
So he was discharged, and then he went on to, share with people throughout his life that he met in life that he served active duty, like in a war overseas, which was not true. And you only recently became aware that he told people that story, right?
Yeah, within the last few weeks, that's when I learned that he had told everybody
Wow.
this.
Wow. And at the time that all of the events went down with Michael and Casey and everything that's happened since July 10th, you were just rebuilding a relationship with him, or
Correct. He No, that's right. He had reached out to me. I think the first time he reached out to me was either April or May
okay.
of this year. So not too long ago, after 5 or 6 years of not
Oh,
talking.
wow. Wow. So you didn't.
Yeah, so it was very strange. I mean, he just out of the blue texted me one day like nothing had ever happened between us, like we had just talked yesterday, you
Yeah.
know. So it was very strange.
That is very strange. It's also very sad that, you thought you were rebuilding a relationship with your brother, and you got a very short amount of time with him before this happened. And I keep saying this, or, the events, because it's hard for me to even say the words to you because that is your family.
Oh,
And
yeah, well, I mean, it is very difficult to say. I mean, but I mean, to for anybody to do this, that is not my family. I am not related to that man.
Yeah.
He he's on his own, but it's just terrible. I can't even fathom the idea that this even did happen. Like I wake up every day and think to myself, did this really happen? And then I really have to come to the realization that yeah, it did.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't. And I my heart truly goes out to you because you've just your family has
Well,
you
well,
you've
thank you.
got hit with a double blow, you know. Not only is Casey gone and four children are gone, but your brother's gone too, and he's accused of being responsible for this. So, and people can be very mean to the family members of accused killers, and that's not fair because and at the end of the day we're all responsible for our own choices. And I commend you for making a public post and standing up for what's right and not trying to you didn't really skate around the facts, you know, you were open and you were honest, and that is absolutely commendable, especially in such a horrendous situation. Going back to you and Michael rebuilding your relationship. So you shared with us that you just recently began building your relationship with your brother Michael again in April or May. So that was a very, very short 2 months. And I know you had shared with me earlier that you actually never got to meet Casey, Mercalli, or Ayana. And of course, I guess if you never got to meet them, you didn't get to meet Cameron or Preston either. And I'm sure that is
So,
another difficult thing for you. It's probably haunting, you know.
yeah, it's very tough. Like I told you earlier, it's it's even tougher, you know, with the fact that I never did meet them. Wanted to, but never got the chance. Yeah, I'm still at a loss for words with the
Yeah,
whole
I can't
thing.
imagine. Did you ever have the opportunity to speak with Casey, like over the phone, or get to know her in any way in that little bit of time?
I didn't. I mean, my life, you know, I'm gonna use it as an excuse, but it's the truth. Is my life is super busy, and I know, you know, they had a lot of kids, so their life was busy too. So we never really got a chance to
Right.
connect. We did, however, talk through Messenger,
Okay.
um, just a little bit, and that was right at the end,
Okay. When was the last
unfortunately.
time you spoke to her on Messenger, if you don't mind me asking? If it's something you don't want to answer, you know, feel free to tell me, or if it's something that would jeopardize
No,
the
it's fine.
case, you can always just.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. The last time I spoke with her on via Messenger was July 10th. She had messaged me actually a few days prior uh, um, about some problems that her and Michael were having. Um, and I hadn't gotten back to her, and then so I had gotten back to her July 10th, um, just saying, you know, sorry to get back to you right, you know, it's been a couple days, sorry. And she had just went on to tell me that Michael had left his phone unlocked and his messenger was open, and she saw a text from Michael to his best friend Joe in Vermont that he was planning on moving back to Vermont with Joe and start working with Joe because he couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, wow. Well, that makes absolutely no sense because Michael's ex wife, Sarah, had just moved back from Vermont to Jacksonville so he could be close to the kids. I mean, that's what she has said, so that doesn't make any sense. Do you remember what time of day that was that you spoke with Casey?
Um, I don't, right. I should have just I should have checked my messenger's history, but
Okay.
I really don't. I want to say it was early
Okay.
afternoon,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. I'll have to send you a message later and let you know exactly
Okay.
what time. But
Yeah, that would be great. Has Michael reached out to you or any of your family since he's been arrested?
no, I have not. I haven't heard anything from him since. Well, actually, to be honest, this is even weirder. I thought it was actually July 15th or September 15th, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Um, that when I found out that Casey and everybody was
Mm-hmm.
missing, I had texted Sarah, his ex-wife, to ask if because I knew she had moved down there, so I asked her if she had seen Michael or Casey or the kids. So I was talking with her, or so I thought, but it turned out to be Michael. Michael was there with her that day and was texting me from
Pretending
Sarah's
to be
phone.
Sarah?
And I, yes, and I have all of these messages saved in my phone. So the detectives are aware of that. They do have that information. So it's not any new information. It's just me clarifying a few things.
Okay.
Yes, very, very
That
strange.
is strange because,
And I can tell and the way that I was getting these messages, like there's a certain format now that I actually look back at it. Um, there's a there's a certain format that Mike texted in, and it's actually called word salad. And we've done some a little bit of research on that format, and it's actually a form of schizophrenia, which is weird.
of,
Schizophrenia.
actually, I think I saw something posted about that. That's interesting. Are you talking about how? Because I noticed you can tell on Casey's Facebook actually when it went from her posting to him posting. It was almost like he posted in. He would post a part of a sentence, and then the next line would be the rest of the sentence, and then the next line would be more of the
Right.
sentence.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So you could tell who you were talking to just from the format.
Wow. Have you had the opportunity to hear any of Sarah's interviews that she's given?
I did listen to the podcast from yesterday. I believe it was aired
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't done by us. We did listen to it. So I know in there one of the things that I can't remember if she said it in that interview or the police interview, or not the police interview, excuse me, the media interview that she gave. She said that she got a 4 a.m. phone call and she woke Mike up and went back to bed, and they talked about it in the morning, and he wrote it off to it being, about the trailer or problems with the trailer. And then she didn't call the detective back, and when she was at the store, she had left the house that day and went to the store, and while she was at the store, the detective called her again. And that is actually one of the things that's being scrutinized about what Sarah is saying. And I'm not saying she's being dishonest because I don't know. I'm just looking at it, trying to look at it
Oh,
objectively.
right. So I'll stop you right there. So let's clarify what day was that she
The day
called the detective back when
the
she went to the
the
store.
day he
What
was
day was
arrested,
that?
she said that in Sarah's own words on the interview, and I will actually, for our listeners, I am going to play part of that interview in here, her media interview that she did. She said that on September 14th, she worked. Michael had the kids all day. She Ubered and got home at 12:30 that night, so that would be September 15th in the morning, and went to bed. And September 15th around 4 a.m. is when the detective called the first time, and she woke Michael up and went back to bed, and just as I had just said. So it was all on September 15th. And
And that was Sunday. That was
that was
Sunday,
Sunday, correct?
correct?
That was the day that they found him with Casey's body in the back of the van.
Okay. Well, I've got some holes to punch in Sarah's little story for that day, and I have them written in my messenger, saved on my phone. So those will be
Wow.
shown as well.
Okay. What kind of holes is that? If you don't mind sharing.
No, that's fine. I had, like I said, when I found out, I got a text from an anonymous person early that morning, the 15th, stating that my brother and his family were missing. So I immediately, and I was not friends with Sarah on Facebook or Messenger. I hadn't talked to her in 5 or 6 years
Mm-hmm.
as well. I reached out to her and asked her if she knew where my brother and Casey and the kids were. She said she doesn't. She saw them on Friday. They were all fine.
So on Sunday the 15th, you got an anonymous message that Casey and the kids were missing along with Michael, or that Michael and his family were missing. And you reached out to Sarah. And what was Sarah's response to you?
Sarah's response to me was she saw them all Friday, including Michael, and they were
Including,
fine. All the kids, Casey and Michael. But then I got a message from Sarah saying, I can't talk right now, Ryan. I have the kids in the ocean. We're at the beach. Talk to you later.
wow. Well, that's a problem, because even if that was Michael texting you, from her messenger, she said that, I mean, she said in her own words that she had her phone and she was at the store when her phone rang and a detective called again.
Right. So, yeah, so all I can think of is that Michael spent the last day there with his other three kids and his ex wife living it up on the beach.
Wow.
Like, how sick is.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you're thinking, especially when, you're hearing her give interviews and then you have messages that say differently.
Yeah, it really
I'm
sucks.
sure. Yeah.
It, this whole scenario sucks, but I just, that's why I wanted to contact you, and some things need to be clarified, and there's some holes in people's stories that don't add up.
I
So,
definitely appreciate you reaching out. Is there anything else that you want to clarify, or any other holes that you want to point out?
I mean, that's pretty much it for right now. I mean, if I think of anything else, I'll let you
Okay.
know. But those were the two main things that I wanted to
Okay.
clarify.
Okay.
And like I said, I have all the messages saved on my phone,
Right.
so it's and I have permission to share them.
Okay. I appreciate that. And hopefully,
So
hopefully we can, help you get to the bottom of this, because I know that it bothers you, hearing conflicting stories. And meanwhile, not only are you dealing with
yeah,
a
well,
horrendous tragedy and trauma and trying to cope with that, you're also trying to deal with your brother being responsible, and then to find out that, things aren't adding up and stories aren't matching. It's very disturbing.
right. No, I mean, I just want justice for her family and those little sweet little kids.
Yep,
You know, they didn't deserve that.
absolutely. Yeah, they were babies.
And if there is anybody else involved, you
Right.
know, justice needs to be served, and that's why I'm here, is to lend a hand with some facts. I appreciate you
No
doing what you're
problem. And
doing.
I appreciate you reaching out, and clarifying things and giving us facts because that's what we are searching for because there are many conflicting stories all over. So, again, you do have our sympathies and condolences, and we continue to think about you and your family. And you know how to get a hold of me if there's anything else you want to share, or even if you want to vent or bounce ideas off me or whatever. We are always around and we are here to support you and your family.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. You have a good night, Ryan. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.
Instead of actually adding Sarah Jones's media interview commentary into this episode, I'm going to put the link to her media interview where you can listen to the audio of what Sarah Jones said about the events of September 15th. Once you listen to that, it becomes clear why Ryan has so many questions and concerns about what happened on that day. He has been told several different things by Sarah, such as she saw Michael, Casey, and the 4 children on Friday, which would have been September 13th, and that they were all okay. She also gave a conflicting statement to Ryan about the events of September 15th compared to her statement that she gave to the media. Since this interview was originally done, there have been multiple things that have come to light in regards to Sarah Jones being misleading to law enforcement. We previously released a voicemail that Sarah left with law enforcement during the missing persons case of Casey and the 4 children, in which Sarah lied to law enforcement. There's also a detailed account within the investigative reports of Sarah's falsehoods that she portrayed to law enforcement when they questioned her before Casey and the 4 children were found. As always, we will dispel any falsehoods and we try to stick to facts here. I still am so grateful for this interview that Ryan so graciously did with me over the fall, and my heart is still always with the Jones family as well as Casey's family and loved ones. Talk to you guys later.